And by the way, I love your background.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So I went ahead and printed the questions, and anything that, we can trim everything off. So, where are you originally from?
That's a point of contention between me and my wife when somebody asks me that, because what do you mean by where are you from?
I mean, like, where did you grow up before coming here, or?
Okay. So, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and then I moved to LaGrange, Georgia, and then moved back to Memphis, Tennessee, and then I moved to Eufaula, Alabama, which is where I went to high school. And then after that, I went to college here in Birmingham at Stanford, and then ever since then, I've pretty much been in Birmingham. So, I always joke, where am I from? I don't really know, kind of all over, but I was born in Memphis, so I claim Memphis. Yeah.
Well,
what about yourself? Where are you from?
I'm from, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a little town about an hour out of Birmingham. It's called Carbon Hill. It's near Jasper.
I've heard of it.
And I'm actually from a town even smaller than that called Pocahontas, which no one has ever heard of.
I've heard of that too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
There's only 10 people that live there.
Well, I worked in admissions at UAB, and with that, you traveled to the most random places in Alabama, even the smallest towns sometimes, or you at least hear of them. So yeah.
That's where I'm from. I'm embarrassed that you know where that is. That makes me feel worse.
Nah.
So I'm from there. I moved down to Birmingham about 5 years ago to go to college and to work. And then my fiance and I just now bought a house back up home, about 10 minutes away from where I grew up.
Okay, so you commute from Carbon Hill just about, or Pocahontas every morning?
Close to Nauvoo, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's about an hour. I lived in Greystone before this, so my commute is technically shorter, and at least we're moving the entire time.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that, so nice.
So what's been the hardest part of quarantining and working from home for you?
So, I feel like I saw that question, and I know that a lot of people probably are going to say the same thing about not seeing friends, but that aside, I would just say not being able to go see concerts or live music, because I like music, and one of the things that I like to do is I like to go to concerts. That's probably one of the things that I'd rather do that than go see a movie. So to me, that's probably the one thing I miss the most, because I like going to movies or whatever. I feel like I can just do that at home, but live music is different. So I've definitely been missing that, and kind of looking forward to whenever we can do that again.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, because we used to go to concerts at least 2 or 3 times a year, and that didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
So now I'm even more upset.
I will say, and I add this too, that working from home was really difficult during quarantine.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, and so we don't have a desk or an office, a proper office. It's just a desk in a living room, and that's really difficult when you're on the phone or you want to try to concentrate. That made it really difficult. But it's probably something that everybody's experiencing to some extent. So.
Yeah.
What about you? What's been the hardest part quarantining for you?
So my gut reaction wants to say not seeing people, but to truth be told, the worst part of it is, all of my coworkers are salaried and can, work when they get the motivation to, or on the weekends if they want to pick up something, or earlier in the morning, later at night. Well, I'm hourly and have to follow a really specific schedule.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating at home, because this morning I got up at 5 in the morning. I couldn't do anything until 8.
Sure.
And then sometimes on the weekends I get really motivated to work on something for work, and I can't. And it's just, I feel like at home, it just shouldn't really matter. I don't know. That's just one of those things that would only frustrate me.
Yeah.
My fiance is at 5 o'clock, I'm out.
Yeah.
But me, I'm just like, if I could just go till 5:30 just to get this done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been my biggest frustration is at home. There are just different hours of the day where I'm more in a work mindset than typical 8 to 5.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
I can understand that.
so what's been the least challenging, easiest part of it?
I would say for me, I would say the least challenging, and probably it could probably go up there with most as well. But just spending more time with my family. We've kind of taken the mindset of trying to really just take advantage of that time that you have to be home.
Yeah.
So because like I said, I have 3 kids, and I think for us, it's just been trying to find a way to make it a positive, and that is one thing that we've been very thankful to be able to do is have that time where, we get to hang out, especially with 3 young kids, and not, miss out on a lot of things. So I would say that's probably been the biggest thing. However, for them, they probably would say it's the hardest thing because they want to see their friends. They're tired of seeing their mom and dad all the time.
Yeah.
But I would say that's probably been the least challenging. So
I have to agree with you because my fiance and I just being able to just make breakfast together and things like that. Like I said, we just bought a house, and so it's been really nice we bought it in April, a month into the worst part of the quarantine. And might I just say that dealing with a realtor and movers and all of this during a national shutdown is not something I ever want to relive.
I don't even want to know what that's like.
No, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But just being able to, this is the double-edged sword of the hourly thing. This is the good side of, right at 5 o'clock, I don't have an hour commute. I can I'm cooking more, I'm more on top of cleaning, and I've been trying new recipes and being adventurous with gardening. And like the other day, as soon as we got off work, we painted our front door. That's something I'd never have the energy to do after driving for an hour home. So part of me is like, oh, it should stay like this forever, and then another part of me is like, if it stays like this for 3 more months, I'm gonna jump out the window. So what's your favorite Birmingham restaurant?
That's a tough one, because Birmingham's got so many good restaurants, so many good places to go eat, and we
feel free to list multiple.
Well, I was gonna say we typically try not to visit one place more than once if we unless we just really like it. And so I was thinking back on that, trying to figure out which one have I been to, I guess, like the most that I really enjoy. And that would probably be Gianmarco's in Homewood, the Italian restaurant. And I would say every time I've been there, it's just been really good. Now, that is more of like your fancy, like date night or fancy outing. You probably don't do very regularly because of what it costs. And so if I had to do something a little cheaper, although I just realized it got more expensive, is Rodney Scott's Barbecue, which is close to downtown, or is downtown, but it's where, I'm trying to remember what the name of that place was. It's an old concert venue, also a vegan restaurant. The Bottle Tree is where Bottle Tree used to be.
Oh, yeah. That's where I went to my first live concert.
There you go. So it's a barbecue place. I think it's Whole Hog Barbecue. Anyways, it's really good. I really enjoy that. As far as like it's somewhat cheaper. You probably would spend still $20 just to get barbecue and a drink. But it's really good.
So I can't list one.
I know, it's tough. It really is tough. That's the great thing about living in Birmingham.
That is the great thing about Birmingham, because there's just so much. My favorite that we go to like maybe twice a year, and I hate to even list something where there's multiple locations, but I just love it. The Texas de Brazil is like a whole, it's like an experience.
I've never been. I've been meaning to go.
Oh, you have to go. It's so fun and it's so good. Like I've never left there not physically reeling from how good it was.
Oh, really? That's the one where they slice the meat right in front of you, right? Like
Yeah.
they just come around with like.
Mhm. They come around with like 20 different kinds of meat, and you're just sitting there like a carnivore. It's amazing.
So if there's any vegetarians or vegans listening, this is probably not the section for you, right?
Well, my second place is probably like something like Red Pearl.
Oh yeah.
With those holes in the wall.
Yeah.
That's a place that I go to multiple times.
Yeah.
Because not only is the restaurant amazing and you can try something different every time you go, but the grocery store attached to it is a trip within itself.
Yeah.
Like you never know what you're going to find in there.
It's like sightseeing in a grocery store.
Yeah, it is. Because I've seen like live fish this big, fruits I've never heard of. It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
And then there's one place that we used to go to regularly over in Hoover that's just the cheapest, greasiest Italian food, the Salvatore's over on 31.
Yeah.
When you just don't even care.
Yeah. They have really good pizza. It's like it's like real thick. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I guess Sicilian pizza. It's almost on like real thick bread crust. But that, yeah, we've been there, and that pizza there
it's so good.
It's really good, but it makes you have to roll you out of there when you get through eating.
Yeah, it makes you hate yourself. I can eat on it twice, and I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
It's the only place I know of in Birmingham. So one of our old family recipes is manicotti, and it's the only place that I know of in Birmingham you can get like a mushroom spinach manicotti, and it's just A+. I could eat it every day for the rest of my life. Although I probably wouldn't have a much long. I probably wouldn't have that long.
Yeah.
So we're down to 5. Do you have any pets, and if so, what kind?
Yes. So my kid's been really wanting a dog for the longest time, and my wife was the lone holdout. And when this quarantine started, I was like, now'd be the perfect time to get a dog because we're home all the time. We can, get it house trained, all that good stuff, and work on it. So we adopted a dog in March, maybe it was May. It was May. Or was it March? No, it was March. It was like the end of March. I'm sorry. And it's a black lab mix. It's a rescue, so we're not really sure what the mix is, but we do know it's black lab and something else. And so his name's Bo. He's about, I think, 9 months old now. And so it's been a fun time. Luckily, it's been a good experience. He's a great dog. Doesn't really chew on much, and does really well with the kids. So we're very thankful for that. What about you? Do you have any pets?
So we're also using quarantine as an excuse to do things we wouldn't normally do with animals. We are currently fostering 3 stray kittens.
Ooh.
That our local animal shelter didn't have room for.
Yeah.
And so we've got 2 from one litter that are about 2.5 months old. And then we've got 1 that got separated from its mom way too early.
Huh.
And I think it's only 5 weeks old because it's just so small.
Oh, really?
And the other 2, we're just trying to get them used to people.
Yeah. Because
they don't trust people at all. They know when we're coming with food.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
But the little one, I mean, she's a handful because she's so young. She's not litter box trained. She can only eat mashed wet food. She's just she's a handful. But it's going to be really rewarding when the first 2 start to open up a little bit, and when the youngest can be a cat on its own without us We have to carry her around in a little teacup because otherwise she gets lost in our house.
Oh, wow.
And we don't have a big house.
It's that small, huh?
Yeah, she's about this big.
Wow.
Palm of your hand size.
Yeah.
But she just wants to sit right here and just not move.
Yeah.
She's extremely needy, extremely nosy, and that's been my life for the past about week.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad for people that foster animals. That was our next stage. If we couldn't adopt a dog, we're like, why don't we just foster one? But then with kids, they would just get too attached. And
that's what I'm worried about. Is this is the first time I've fostered, and so I have a strong. We've never had animals. Well, I had a cat once in one of our old apartments, and I've never fostered before. I had been talking to my fiance about maybe getting a cat, or when we, got grass, a dog.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I get this phone call that's like, hey, we've got these 3 cats that really need a place to stay for a few weeks. And I just have a feeling that they're probably not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They're foster failures.
Or they get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you a morning or a night person?
I would have to definitely say I'm a night person. I've tried the whole be a morning person, like get up early, work out, and I can't do it. I last maybe a few months, and then it's just right back to my old habits of staying up late. And like I don't really do anything like crazy like staying up late. I don't have I have more energy at night than I do in the morning. Like I'd rather go, like last night even, I'd rather go for a run at 9 o'clock at night than I would at 5:30 a.m. I don't feel as rushed. I feel like I can just kind of do it on my own time, and it's not quite as not stressful, but there's not like that. Okay, I can go for a run, but then I gotta get ready for work, and I gotta be at work. It's just kind of like, well, I go for a run, and I get home, and I can go to bed if I want, or if I can watch something on Netflix if I want. So, what about you?
That sounds just like me.
Yeah.
I will say that, like this morning I got up really early, and it was nice to take my time and not feel like I got in the shower and I got to listen to music and pack a lunch and get everything together, and I wasn't in a huge hurry. But at night I just feel so much more like I would rather clean at night.
Yeah.
My family growing up, we didn't eat dinner until like 9 or 10 p.m.
Ooh, I never did that.
My natural circadian rhythm, like I don't get tired until like 2 in the morning.
Okay.
And so like I got up at 5 this morning, but I still went to bed at like 1:30. And that's just how I've always been. And so I guess I'm a mixture of the two, because like I felt great, and I feel great today because the morning went so easy. Yeah. And I wish I could be a morning person, but I'm just...
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I just can't do it.
It's just so much easier to do things at night.
Yeah.
The phone's not ringing. I'm not getting emails every 5 minutes. Stuff's not going on like it is during the day, and I just feel like I can actually sit down and with a clear head focus.
Yeah.
So that's, unfortunately I'm a night person. I wish I was.
Not quite as much of a night person as you are, going to bed at 1:30, but I can usually do 11:30 on a regular basis and still be all right.
Yeah. I mean, I can go to bed around midnight if I just turn everything off and lay there for an hour, but the way I usually go to sleep is I stay up until I'm just exhausted and then just
crash.
Yeah. And that's how I've always done. So I did like some bonus questions that are more like work from home type questions.
Okay.
So what's a personal project you're working on that isn't work related at all? Like something hobby related, or?
I don't know if it is professionally related, but it doesn't have anything to do specifically like with work. So right now I'm trying to do took a course this past spring, and my goal was to do the test this summer until things got all kind of out of whack. But to get my project management professional certification, so basically going through and learning about project management. Some of the things I do with my job that I'm currently in, there are some projects that I kind of help participate in, help, I don't want to say lead, but kind of maybe come up with some projects for other people to do that IT really works on. But so I think that that's something that interests me, just because I think it would help me professionally, but I'm not being asked to do it by UAB or anything like that. And it's actually very interesting. So I kind of am really enjoying that part of it. I would say that's currently a hobby. If I have to really look at a hobby, one thing I do like, and I know we're talking to, I don't know if I can't remember if this is just internally to professionals or if students might see this, but I like bourbon.
No, it's just our office. So
I like bourbon. So my wife says I collect bourbon. I don't really try to collect bourbon, but I do like to try different ones. So I think that's my main hobby.
I need to connect you with my supervisor because she also is a complete bourbon head.
All right.
She turned me on to a bourbon called Basil Hayden.
Yeah.
And a bourbon called Bullet. Yeah. And I didn't think I mean, if I ever drank whiskey, it was just the cheapo R&R, whatever. But I mean, that stuff's actually good.
Yeah. You can usually find stuff that somebody likes.
Yeah, I was completely shocked, and yeah, she's like super knowledgeable about it.
What about you? What are your hobbies?
So my hobby is my hobby is plants, just in general. Anybody who knows me knows that I am always surrounded by plants. In my house, I have something like 125 plants. Every window is full of them. They're in every corner. And a project that we're working on right now is we've never had outdoor space before. In the apartments we've had, and in the last condo we rented, we just have like a small little concrete patio. But now we actually have, I mean, we're on 20 acres, so we have a ton of options. Yeah. And we're looking to do like a big backyard area, and I want to do like 4 different raised beds for every season. So like for the winter, a camellia bed, so that something will be blooming in the winter, something will be blooming at every season.
That'd be nice.
And that's what my fiance and I are doing right now, is drawing up plans to try and, because I know a ton about indoor plants. Yeah. I know next to nothing about outdoor plants. But it's going along really well, and we've been spending a lot of time in like local greenhouses and stuff like that, getting information from people that know what they're talking about.
That'd be cool.
And the what I was laughing about at the beginning of this was when I was a student assistant in the office here, one of the, I guess, requirements for me to go full-time was that I took some plants home, because I think I had at least 30 plants in my office. And I was told anonymously that it was like I was working in a greenhouse. Oh. And so I went on a spree of like, do you want this? I'm gonna take this home. Who wants this plant? And I didn't notice how many there were because I'm surrounded by them at home, but apparently everybody else did.
Yeah. So were they saying that like a bad thing? Like, or just?
It's just a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was definitely a lot. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really brought 30 plants in this office and just sat them around. But at the time, the condo we were renting had horrible lighting, and this window gets great light, so I was just using it as an excuse. So, last question. All right. When you don't have any meetings, any video meetings scheduled, what's your work from home outfit? Like, do you wear your work clothes, or do you dress a lot more casually than you would in the office?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more casual. I think it's definitely still, I mean, I probably put on, over the summer, I definitely wore like khaki shorts and like a polo.
Yeah.
And there'd be an occasion where I, depending on, you know, what I just got through doing or what I knew I was going to be doing next, it may be, you know, gym shorts and a t-shirt. But most of the time it was khaki shorts and like a polo or something like that. One of the things I learned from my dad back before this all started, because he works from home, he was like, he just said he had to put on dress pants and a button-up just to get himself in work mode.
Yeah.
Just to know that there's a difference between like hanging out at home and then working from home. And so I kind of tried to put that into practice, even though I'd never done it before, just to kind of make me feel like I was actually changing modes to some extent.
I had to teach myself that lesson, because at first I was like, oh my God, I can wear, you know, flannel pants and, you know, my concert t-shirts and beach shirts and all this stuff. And I don't really have a dedicated workspace either. Like, my fiance has a whole office where he can just go in and shut the door, and he's got his desk and because he's an artist. But my desk is just a little thrift store find and a kid's chair from Target in my bedroom. And so I would get up in the same clothes I slept in and go to work, and I would just be like, why am I not working?
Yeah.
Until I realized, I was like, okay, let me actually put some work clothes on. Let me at least pretend. And so I'd throw on some chinos and a polo or a button down, and I was like, okay, this actually really helps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's a slow day, I might not, especially if there's no video meetings, but like, I've gotten to the point where things are getting crazy now, and so I have to put on work clothes regardless of whether I'm doing a meeting or not, because it gets me in the zone. Yeah. I'm right there with you. All right. Well, that was my last question. It was really nice meeting you and hanging out.
Nice to meet you, Jackson.
Well, it's nice to know somebody in One Stop from an employee standpoint and not a student standpoint.
We're happy to help even employees if we can. So, yeah.
All y'all knew me from as a student was that I was someone who perpetually lost my one card.
You're not the only one. They're coming in daily, so you're in good. You're not the only one. It's not a strike against you or anything. So. All
right. Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It was
nice
awesome meeting you.
See ya.
Bye.